fight to be able to they will take the fight in order to keep Brum United away from their compound. Not happening quite yet. And now Wasana with the sprays on top side. Bit of chip damage, but that's not more than that he can do.
Chrono being used by Team Apex Gaming. They will survive this, but there's Jonah and the shield gun peppering them one after another. Jonah gets a double as well as he puts 2 of the players down. Wasana wants the confirmation, is not letting them go. Along with Jonah, 2 players from Team Apex Gaming are put to rest, and Wasana wants to take this battle even closer.
Well, most people say don't go chasing waterfalls, but Brim Ryan is chasing them away from this area, and now they might be able to get in onto the next phase of Circle. But there's a lot of teams who has been forced into the north right now, and we know that they're very near to Riders Club, and we'll have to find out though. There's a lot of contention that will be happening, especially for Team Falcons, who uses that as their drop. But going back to Buriram United, the battle's not yet over between them and Team Apex Gaming. Wolven being shot at with a quick scope from Jonah.
He just got dropped, and now even Sailjan. Jonah is looking unstoppable with his Scar 98 game. That is 9 total eliminations, and Jonah has 7 of it. He has taken 7 of the eliminations, and Team Apex Gaming still stuck in the same compound. What does KD God and Shoto do to make it through from here?
At this point, just wait. What can you do? You don't want to take this fight. You want to be able to survive and go for that reset here. But as for Buriram United, are they going to go hunting is the question. Might be. Decides to just move away from the area just for a little bit more time. Could cross paths to the players for Twisted Minds on the top side.
Oh, I see now in Buriram United, the same strategy that they have been doing for the longest time. Don't go into the next phase of the circle just yet. Just wait into the edge until it collapses. But there's still a lot of problems that we need to face later on. And from what we're seeing for Team Falcons, they're holding their ground quite well. Despite of not getting elimination, they still have that high ground in Riders Club.
Lion, at least for the time being, safe keep. They activated Steffi. The painted refuge will protect them for the time being. But now they have to get closer. Falcon shots, they're not connected as best as they would have wanted, and the start has also not been great. However, an answer back is something that we spoke about. Tag have somehow found something. But Lion, their challenge and their entry, and they find a player from Twisted Minds somewhere in the scarce.
You know what's really crazy looking at Lion right now? They're able to not only take this fight, but even throw bodies as a 4. Eva's in trouble. Ray barely alive right now, taking a lot of damage for Guacos. And now the lull and the wait. And speaking of lull and wait, their Fluxo, their members getting completely swarmed.
Oh, this is a battle that everyone has been waiting for. Brim United going against Fluxo. But we've seen Fluxo lose 2 of their players, and the jump is on, but the shift of the zone might force them to move away. MT7 as well as Gio right now just holding their ground, but Jonah with that stealth bites, using that Moors, a surprise hit might be done, and great timing for the combination of Wasana as well as Get High for that push and probably the elimination.
There's a counter, Gio for the timing, but doesn't work again. The shield gun coming through. And this time it's going to be Get High. And Buriram United Esports, they will be able to put a rest to that aggression. And with that, we also see SATUL Esports getting eliminated. A lot of losses, one after another, as Solara has very less space.
Yeah, not a lot of space, and everyone seems to have found a small part of that pie. But the Falcons, look at their positioning on the top of this building, and you've seen how much damage they can do with the snipers, with the long-range weapons. And most importantly, the ones on the bottom side here are going to have to compete for that space. Meanwhile, for Shoto, in trouble, AGL putting that pressure onto him, and this guy has been the hero for this team, pulling them out from so many very, very dire situations. But in this situation, they can't do more than that! Because it's going to be Buriram United steals away the point, and AGAL not a lot of space to work with.
AGL, they have just a bus to protect themselves, but on the other end, Buriram, they have an entire compound. It seems like a farming land for themselves. 15 eliminations. This is game number 1. They're looking unstoppable. Riptide Rhythm, they want to break down AGL. Nothing's working. Flash freeze, Nate's being tossed. Riptide Rhythm again. AGL might get closer. Doesn't work. Varos is down. Cypher, Nameless, and you trying to close the distance. But AGL, their numbers have lost. 9 eliminations. Again, a player opening found. Wasana might have been traded off by 2. Nameless is going with a throw gun. Moshi holding it off. And now Wasana also down. Moshi, the only one, and AGL somehow have changed this.
Well, a quick revival for Buriram United might be the saving grace for Team Buriram United. AGL did put up a great fight, but 2 is still at it. And he is going for that 1v2. Will he be able to survive? The answer is no. And they were going for a risky approach, especially in this phase 4 of the circle. That HP or that zone will be damaging their HP. And I don't know what could have been done at that point for AGAL, but Buriram United was just waiting for it. It's just unfortunate that they lost 2 of their players.
So Dinoculars used as well. Gives away the game for so many of these teams, but Buriram United not down and out yet. Loud is here as Guacos will be the next victim. A little angle seen by Rasha wants to be abused. A double swing as well, making sure that no one survives the initial skirmish. And the Lions cannot survive longer. Down and out, 3 teams left.
Thanks to Aim God, Evos has still survived. But the dash coming out from Falcons, that was crazy. Almost ended up putting Evos to rest.
Now, this is an ending that we haven't seen for a long time. No full squad in contention. 3 remains, 2v2v2. But we are seeing Moshi. And there have been a lot of comments wherein Moshi could have been putting that much on the snipe already. But this is a place to really show up.
Look at the last 3 teams. How much do they have in surviving? Just 2 each. It's a 2v2v2. Evos, Loud and Buriram United. Evos are the defending EWC 25 champions. Now looking forward to EWC 26. Loud, they won the very first trophy for Brazil, and Buriram United won the biggest in the cabinet, that is EWC.
Jonah has been a heavy hitter for this game, but a box falls. Moshi, great shot coming in from the area. But the circle is shifting and everyone is just trying to find that space, but Loud is a little bit quicker to the zone. They have positions, they have the high ground angles, and it gives a lot of question marks for the rest of the teams for their rotations.
Well, as you say, first to the circle, first to the win. Let's see if they'll be able to pull it off. And God, not so much of contention. Even with a inhaler, he might not be able to survive. But he did manage to go for a clutch, a 1v2 in this fight. And now he has to deal with 2 players from Team Loud.
He got help from Loud. That is the reason Buriram United instantly shut down. But as you said, it is a 1v2. Look at him sneakily walking across, crouching, making shot. Loud have no idea, but BCP has spotted him. In God, SVD, can he connect the first? If he can bring it down to 1v1, it's better, but the information delayed. And as long as time passes, it is Loud that will surround him. And we know Nix, he's such a good player. And once he gets to the CQC, he will instantly put the player down.
He's rushing forward here right now. He's able to just go for the 1v1. It'll be really good. His shots go wide, but they're crunching it from 2 different angles. The respect's given. And Loud makes sure they secure their first booyah of the day.
Team Loud. Loud Snickers are the loudest to start the Free Fire here at Esports World Cup 26 Paris' Grand Finals. What a game coming in, and Nix, we knew he had this potential. They were waiting to get to the final, started off, and in the very first game for Brazil, they opened with a booyah.
Oh, this is what everyone has been looking forward to. Who's going to get that first booyah? But we also seen a lot of elimination from the other teams who didn't make it this far. Let's take a look at a replay right now. And this is one phenomenal play coming from Evos. But it's just unfortunate that the pressure is on, not only on those HP, but also on that zone.
Oh no, crazy work coming in from Loud as well. I think one thing's for sure though, we all had our favorites. We saw our favorite players just completely farming it out. But when it matters the most, that final moment, Loud prioritizing positioning over these fights gave them so much extra advantage to just give them not only the booyah, but those extra placement points.
Yeah, they needed it. They wanted a good start. We've been seeing Loud. We even spoke about it, right? In the group they were in, they were very consistent. They ended up getting 2 booyahs to start things off. But Buriram United Esports, unfortunate for them. They had an opportunity. They should have been the ones closing it. Look at them. Without the booyah, they have 30 total points, 22 eliminations. If not for Loud Snickers, if not for Nix from that far angle, finding a clash and helping Aim God out, we would have seen Buriram with the win.
I mean, we've seen this side of Brim from before.
No.
Even in group stages.
Yeah.
Like, they did manage to get 23, so this is not even close to the record that they have. But I'm really loving this side of BRU. The aggression is really needed, especially in first match of the day, because it's not just the booyah that is needed by the team in this early parts. It's more of farming the numbers to get to that 90.
You know what's really insane? I think I said to them, well, it's going to be a bit more quiet from Buriram United early, and it was. But throughout all of that, Jonah was farming so many eliminations. Out of all of that, I believe he had like, what, 13 to 15 eliminations by himself. And for now, who better to break it down for us other than the analyst later? We'll be right back before we go to them.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. You see my name in the lights, better get right, I'm champion.
Very, very beautiful.
Well, let's get loud here for Free Fire. I'm Lace, joined by Conchita, and look, the Brazilian teams are arguably some of the best teams that we have in the competition today, and they have a lot to try and earn today, taking over the Southeast Asia's team. They really, really want this, and of course, Loud coming out with 33 points and 22 eliminations. Conchita, what an exceptional start for our Brazilian teams.
Yes, of course, but if we're talking about Brazilian teams, isn't it also a surprise to see Lost got sent back really soon to the lobby, and Araki from Indonesia was the one who got them sent back? I mean, yes, RRQ did drop at Delta Isle and they had to fight their way through loss. They managed to get out. I mean, I am pretty proud of RRQ today, even though they didn't get that much points. They had to fight against Falcons, which they managed to edge out. They also had a very intense meeting with Twisted, who almost got them twisted. But all in all, EFOS Divine was also very phenomenal. I mean, that was crazy. The last fight with Aim God as the last man standing, I am just so excited.
I mean, and of course we want to see all these teams do incredibly well, but it looks like Loud is leading the pack at the moment. But of course, we're going to get the game started sooner than later. And let's throw it over to Tash, Lucifer. Let's go.
And also Neptune. It's okay, I haven't forgotten you. Now, you know, we are hearing right now that Loud is currently the team that is leading the pack, at least in terms of Booyah. But points-wise, though, it's still in favor of Buriram United. After all, it is the first map, but showcasing our skills on the second map when everyone's in momentum is going to change.
Yeah, well, definitely it needs to change right now because from what we're seeing, they're already 1/3 of what is needed right now to be able to activate that match point. But judging from where everyone is dropping for the flight path that we have, and you know for a fact that this is my favorite map. The skewed flight path, or somewhat skewed flight path that we've seen, might have forced the team to go in for those hot drops. But look at that, Team Fluxo and Team Apex Gaming. I think they're going to start it hot on that gold course.
Sahil Jad is the closest, and there it is. Bullets being rattled. Mini Uzi, but also a Scar on hand. Dash from Butson. But Sahil dodges that. Glue wall being used, but I don't think he has enough resources for the very start. And Butson is quick on it. Gets the very first elimination of our match 2. I really like that you mentioned this match point. Everybody needs to understand it's no more about getting to the top of the charts. It's about reaching 90 points. And that's what EVOS want to do, but will be failed because of Cypher. AGL also missed their opportunity just because of how Buriram somehow held themselves, because AGL looked like they were about to shut down Buriram.
Yeah, I mean, the silent AGAL was there almost getting into it. But now, with that Cypher elimination, they're now ahead of EVOS. But we'll have to see, though, because we still have Ray and Rasia in play. And look at what Pecker coming from Ray. This could be the game changer if in case Du moves up that hill. But knowing Du and knowing the potential of any other sniper in this competition, he will not be going there.
It's going to be very interesting because we've seen so many resets coming through from EVOS this early. I would say around disadvantages have been, I would say, saved so many times from these teams. Regardless, as we look through the area right now, no one's really too actively going for fights. But the southern side, though, very interesting to me.
While we were discussing about how the southern side would be, where teams will be fighting out, Buriram again find one more on EVOS. It seems like Buriram is looking unstoppable. They do not want to stop, but so does even Tag. Sahil Jat might have been lost, but now an opportunity for Shoto. Ma'al spotted, but damage is the only thing that was done. No knock, and good for Shoto is the entire RRQ is still not here, so Tag is rallying towards this fight.
And from what I'm seeing, we have 3 teams on the southern island of Purgatory, and Fire Brigade might need those fire trucks later on because RRQ then managed to start it off, but a lightning zone just to make sure that they have limited advantage when they try to go in for a rush on Central, and they are targeting Team Apex Gaming, but Team Apex Gaming knows what they need to be done. Lightning zone is here. Just hide out on those rooftops.
And most importantly as well, we also seeing the rotations coming in from the Falcons. But meanwhile, over on this side, Lost currently wanting to catch up in the points that they had missed out earlier. Now Rahone on one side here, tagged onto EVOS players, but Abax from downtown managing to steal the point away. But they're not done quite yet. Being so aware of the positioning where Yago is and the rest. AGL also close by.
Very difficult for MRVA loss. They were not only fighting with one team, but AGL, look at Cypher. This might be a distraction because his teammates are close by. But defending a 1v1 is going to be difficult with Yago lost. MRBR lost. They already went out with 0 points in the previous game, and now if they do it, it's going to be even more tougher.
You might be right with that Cypher being the bait, and there goes the push! The first time ever, and you know, we see that knock up with that vehicle, and they only have 1 left out of MIBR lost, but nothing is at a loss right now. A full revive has happened.
Yeah. And now they go again, this time against EVOS. AimGod takes a bit of damage here. Barros bought a bit of time. And throughout all that, AMAX has already been stolen away into the lobby. AimGod tries to go for the reset. Valiant dashes away to safety for the time being. EVOS stuck, rushes forward. HP so very low by AimGod. But now for Ray, gonna be swarmed by all the members of AGAL, not able to survive.
This is why your skills are important. Electrotherapy protecting them for far so long. That is the reason EVOS couldn't fight back. They had only 2 members and them getting taken down. Thankfully, that's not a full elimination, but there was an elimination that happened. That is Team Apex Gaming and Falcons. Seems like game number 2 is their comeback.
LSEDO, they can come back right now. They are just going into the edge of a circle, still hanging on that south side, and they thought they might be able to find someone on Central, but they were a little bit too late to party right now. But from what we're seeing, they are gathering all the loots that they have, and they're just going for the basic gameplay. Silent in the beginning, and then deadly towards mid to end. But the only question though is how are they going to find their way into the next phase of the circle? We still have a few moments before it closes in and the second phase shows up, but the battle between AGAL and EVOS is not yet done.
EVOS, what is happening? ABAX will be able to revive, but look at AGAL Cypher. Right to the face with the M590 Valiant Dash. And now another conversion. 9 elimination. AGL, what they missed out because of Buriram in the previous game, they want to make it happen. 30 points, what Buriram pulled off. AGL want to do it. This is what we've been talking. Buriram have earned titles. They are our World Series global champions of 25. Now they want an EWC championship in their name. Falcons, they want to get back to their winning ways that they had in 24. They want another EWC title for themselves. And 6 total eliminations.
In this situation as well, the lull, the silence is here, but the middle side of the map is very interesting as Fluxo does manage to hunt down the members of RRQ somewhere there. We see Troll also falling, EVOS as well suffering heavy damage. This map, while it looks quiet on this side, is hectic on the rest of the areas.
LSEDO, because we are looking at Lost right now, who might be chilling like a villain at this moment, but we are seeing a few players, not only from Team Falcons from the south, but also RRQ from the north. So the pinch might happen right now, but again, we are just waiting for the shift of that next phase. And as you see it, both of the 3 of the teams are in there right now. And look at the numbers that these players has been bringing in. And we have highlighted already, Brim United. Yeah. The number that they can put in the fight, that only shows why Jonah and Moshi is the best players so far in this lobby.
But you see in the mix of it, there's Dew. That was the reason how AGL almost looked like they would survive. Did not still, but now this is game 2. Purgatory, a lot could change, and that's what Falcons also want to. MIB are lost. They want to change their fate from getting out of 0 points to at least something. But it so far doesn't seem to be the case. Even SAQL, they want their points, but Maal 77 says that is going to be an elimination. And right at the riverbank will sweep away SAQL's chances once again.
Well, Maal, the deadly sniper from Indonesia, right now going solo. Rest squad still not found in this map, but I know there is a plan. They are the mastermind into the stealth mode with that. The stealth bites using that more skill. They might be heading in to where this engagement is happening between Loud and MIBR Lost.
General taking a lot of damage right now. Bare Life managing to just survive. The pressure coming in from Loud, this high ground, gives them so much value. But Joker, on the other side, they're managing to pick off here, but Loud hasn't been moved quite yet. The lightning zone does come through. General falls, and now Keroro, the Falcons, decide to join in as well. BZP still hasn't picked up already. Keroro finding a nice angle to work with, goes a bit wide, finally getting that shot onto Nyx. But the Falcons as well are suffering heavy damage. Pina, Keroro fall. And right now, both teams are barely alive. What are they to do here? Because the RRQ gang has decided to join in.
Falcons had a second chance. They instantly went for the revive. So there is a lifeline for them. But Loud, they're trapped. Trap was the only savior. He used the M79 to bail it out, but he is certainly surviving at the bottom of the hill. And RRQ now charging in. They will get it on fire. That's an added elimination. But can he hold off? Can Falcons actually make a comeback? They're close by. If he holds off for the time being, then RRQ, they might get surrounded once again.
Now that's one thing that we can depend on Fire. He can go for the distraction while the rest of the team is setting up. But there goes On Fire, launch pad right now, but it was Limit who was been taken down by a different squad. AGAL has inserted a coin. He is now ready to be the next challenger in this battle. But from this moment, once the second to the third phase is closing in, we expect the teams to slow down, but I guess they are chasing and hungry for those points.
You want to be able to keep up. Again, we started this match 1/3 of the way to match point. You don't want to allow a team to run away with that. We talked a little bit about Buriram United having a quiet start, and this map in particular has been extra for them as well. However, positioning-wise, they look really good right now, taking their time, and it's just open areas in front of them. They don't really have to really fight their way into the zone.
Fighting is the only name of the game today. Everybody has to, because of the match point condition that they have to fulfill if they want to become the champions at the end of the day. Fluxo, not the best start that they have also had here in Purgatory. How do they get out of it? They go back towards the vending machine to recover their players first. A revival point is also close, but they have enough coins and they will get the player back up. 4 all strong together.
Now, so far for Fluxo, they do have 3 of those team boosters put up, and one of which would be the out-of-zone buff. So that's one reason why they can soak outside of that circle. But there's one thing that they need to worry about. The shift has already moved to campsite, and we've seen AGAL already holding on, taking a high ground, and this is deadly, especially in this kind of situation. Same goes for Evos, and Rasia is just waiting for the opportunity. Might be able to pull out that launch pad. A little bit of exchange though. Hands it over to Ray, just in case they need to pull out. They will be able to do it and fly away.
The situation here, the wait is on. I mean, both teams very, very comfortable in their little corners of that map. I'm just waiting for this initiation to happen now. Now, looking at everyone right now, the Lion, plays from Fluxo and Lion later on the rotation would be interesting to see, but Abe pressuring the members onto the other side here. No one is truly comfortable, regardless of whether or not they are in the zone.
RQ is happy they got this spot. Falcons left it and the circle still keeps the position of the containers and they will keep it. AGL, however, they know about this position. Falcons, because they left this position and moved towards the vending machine, they also have an idea. So right now, RRQ have to be wary that they're enemies in the closest surroundings, and especially that they're out in the open, anybody could target them. But targeting, when we speak about it, Twisted Minds, they did that in Group B and took the top spot. And now what do they do to get those points?
Well, let's see though, because they are very close against Team Falcons, and also trapped from behind, and they get the next phase's circle, so no one will be moving away from campsite. But for those who are surrounding as well as jumping in across that river, trouble is brewing. Buriram United against Fluxo once again, and let's see though who's going to win. The lightning zone has been triggered, and no one is moving that much because they don't want to hit by that bolt maker. But from what we've seen from Fluxo, they are just holding their ground, not letting Buriram United in. The gatekeep is on.
Yeah, the high ground here is good, but Wasana great to take away that space, and they are going to collapse. Great work from Fluxo to take away that space to keep the rest of Buriram United at bay. MT7 just now almost getting knocked down here, but I'm loving the fact that they're so patient in keeping them away. Now, Buriram United forced to reposition, but meanwhile for Loss, gonna take this fight head on against AGAL.
It might be a loss. So far, still no eliminations, but they're close to AGAL, who have the highest in the lobby, 11 in total. Can there be more for AGL, or is it going to be vice versa? It might be a loss. Open up with their very first. Damage being done. Valiant dash being used. Ring 5 with the Bison finds Barros. That is the opening, and they're all stuck inside the away. This is going to be difficult. Cypher also caught out. Surrounding with the glue walls. General jumping across the board. And Rigby finds another that's nameless. And then the last to answer with that AGL will be put to rest. And MIB a loss. Turn the tides.
Oh, stuck in one trailer when they thought they will be able to go for a pickup, and with one glue wall, they do have the windows open. But speaking of windows open, window is opening for Team Falcons, especially with Limit on those knives. And same goes with Twisted Mind. And who is the target? The one and only Wasana, who is just going solo right now. And that's 1 out of 2 remaining players. Make that 1 or none about one remaining players out of Buridam United.
Yeah, cannot really move, but Moshi is still around. The question is whether or not he's going to be able to survive all the way till the end. As for Twisted Minds, they have all the idea in the world now to take out Trap, to be able to take away space from the Falcons. Now, it's going to be difficult. You don't know where exactly everyone's going to be. The lack of information keeps the players at bay. And while all of that is happening, Joker had already been knocked down there by Made in Brazil loss.
It might be a loss. They needed this opening, they needed this start, and now they're getting eliminations. But the next best team after AGL going out is going to be Twisted Minds with 10 eliminations. But RRQ, they instantly get put out. What was this by Fluxo? Butson, MT7, all of them together put RRQ out. And now Twisted Minds, they have another challenge with Falcons throwing the melters.
6 teams remaining, 4 full squad in this fight. Twisted Minds still holding on, gatekeeping Team Falcons not to get in. But on the other side, Moshi, the final player from BRU, will be taken down. Now the battle is not yet over. It is MIBR against Fluxo right now. But from what we see, Butson is just that aggressive F590 hand, and the rest of the squad is just waiting. They split up on a 2-2.
Fluxo, they need this chance. Might be a loss on the other end. Rigby, the man who was finding the openings, he's been taken down. Gio is the one, but Glue Wall will protect. They will be able to bring the player back up, but there is MT7. He puts the player general down, and Fluxo are turning this against their own counterparts from the region. Confirmation on Rigby. Rawan and Yago, the last survivors. Boxes down, this is an opportunity. But Sin with a dash, instantly trying to put one player out. But he will get knocked with the Max 7. Coming down to a 1v1, and it's MT7. He finds and ends MIB a loss.
And now the collapse happens. They have to shift forward here. Twisted Minds coming through. Loud will be annihilated. And somehow throughout it all, Twisted Minds' patience will be rewarded with a booyah.
Patience truly is a virtue. No, they didn't really rush in against opponents right there. They know the timing that they have to take. Even got a few eliminations from afar. As I always say, aggression from a distance. And this is where they can get all those points. The only question though is it enough?
Yeah, is it enough? I think that's the question everybody's asking themselves. How many points did we acquire? Where did we end up? Especially because in that last fight, right, except for Twisted Minds who know they got the booyah and they have 12 points, everybody else is wondering, is our elimination as well as placement points enough for us to get back towards the top 5? Because I think at the end of game 2, that's what they have to think about.
And it's a good story as well for Twisted Mind right now, because imagine, ending the previous map or starting this current game, with only 5 points. So
Yeah.
they need that additional 12 points from Booyah as well as any elimination that they managed to pull in that game. But I'm really looking forward to some of the shuffle that will be happening on the leaderboard in a bit, because there's a lot of engagement that we've seen from that match.
We are starting to see, I would say, the consistent teams really just rise to the top. Right? But most importantly right now, I'd like to say that despite some teams not being able to come play or at least shoot back in map 1, are starting to rise again in this map.
Mati, mira. Posso falar? Agora. Pô, bate no squad. Amassou, caralho.
You can see Loud was happy about it because they again ended up coming in the hashtag 2, because that is enough points to keep them at the top. However, Twisted Minds from Thailand, this is a team that, while the other Thailand teams who are in the top who have won titles, this is not a team that everybody is eyeing on.
Yep.
But they managed to get the second booyah. This is why today's grand finals, here we were expecting that anything can happen. You cannot count on one team. If you think Buriram is going to get it, no, right now just Twisted Minds did it. Buriram should have had the first booyah, but Loud got it. A lot going on throughout our matches now.
You did mention the second booyah, so technically this is a second booyah of Twisted Mind all throughout the competition. And we rarely see them really on the top 3. 4 out of 12 from when they played in group stage and group B, when they ended up in the top 3. But this is just them switching it up. What I was expecting was just Mind to be just all out aggressive.
Yeah.
They tried to do so in game number 1, but it did fail. So why not change it up?
Yeah, I mean, changing it up is always really good as well. It throws the, your teammates, not teammates, your other people, other teams in the lobby, off as well. But what I really like to see as well is just really being able to just really take your time. Being really patient is also really good. We have teams that are really, really aggressive and high energy, and somehow they just really just run out of gas in after this.
There's an interview. Let's send it over to Carol.
Hello everyone, Carol Bombshell here. It's a pleasure to be here on stage with you guys. Are you guys enjoying Free Fire? The first 2 match was amazing, but not as amazing that was for this guy over here. Trap, the team captain for Loud team. And of course, you guys had a great start today. Start with a booyah for sure. It was amazing for you. So how important it is to get off to a strong start in the finals so you can reach the match point. Como é que foi para vocês começarem já com um buiazão aí, né? Já tirar essa pressão aí de dentro. É muito importante para vocês já darem esse primeiro buia?
Com certeza, a confiança que já estava alta vai ainda mais lá em cima. Um buia e um top 2 agora, mesmo com a dificuldade da queda, conseguir segurar o top 2 aí. E é isso, não sei ainda a posição que nós está na tabela, mas estamos muito confiantes.
Awesome. As a Brazilian team has never won AWC before. What would it mean to bring the first AWC Free Fire trophy home to Brazil? O time brasileiro nunca ganhou o EWC, isso é certo, a gente já sabe. O que significaria para você, como jogador, e para o time da Loud serem os primeiros campeões do EWC, os primeiros brasileiros campeões do EWC?
Se tudo correr bem, vai ser incrível, né? Porque ninguém ganhou ainda no Brasil. E quando você consegue uma coisa única, é ainda mais satisfatória. E a gente quer muito ser campeão mundial. E ser campeão mundial de uma coisa que ninguém tem, vai ser melhor ainda.
Amazing. So basically what he said was, I'm going crazy right now because getting the first booyah here give us such a great confidence. We get more secure. We can team up even better. We are really happy, but I'm definitely going crazy because I want to know in which position we are in the standings. We know that Buriram was in the first after the first match, but right now we want to know in which positions we find ourselves. And of course, being the first Brazilian team to win at AWC 26 would mean a lot to us, especially representing Loud right now. We know that we can get there, and that's our mission and our goal for today. Thanks so much for the interview, Trap. We wish you the best of luck for you guys. And of course, me and you are gonna watch a lot more of Free Fire. So keep it up with us, and back to the studio.
Tay đâu em? Đang Được tay luôn. Bây giờ thì mình có kiểu đi. Mày đi. Mày gì qua cu đến.
Ooh, look who's here if it's not MT7 and Iago, the two best snipers in Brazil. I mean, of course, we have a lot of best snipers in Brazil, but right now I want to talk with both of you because I know there's a competition going on in Brazil soil, but I want to know all about here at AWC 26. MT7, you share with us your desire to be the MVP, but also the winner here. So what's more important for you right now, the MVP or to be the winner? Qual que é o seu maior desejo? Você contou pra gente que você quer ser o campeão, obviamente, mas também o MVP. O que você preferiria agora?
Ah, com certeza, sem sombra de dúvidas nenhuma, ser campeão. Mas se vier o campeão MVP, já tá bom demais pra mim também, né?
What it happens if you're the winner, but Iago is the MVP? E se acontecesse de você ser o campeão e o Iago MVP?
Ah, não, tá de boa. Aí depois eu pego no Brasil e tá tudo tranquilo também.
Oh, that's okay, because he can be the MVP here, and then I will, of course, get it back in Brazil when we are back home. But Iago, you're finally back in a World Championship. What is the feeling to be back here at AWC after 2 years? Você tá de volta num campeonato mundial e qual que é o sentimento de estar aqui depois de 2 anos?
Ah, sempre é muito bom, né? Disputar em alto nível, ainda principalmente no Mundial, como EWC também, que é muito importante para todos, então é muito bom. E agora espero manter para muito tempo aí em vários mundiais.
Did you see that Baby Gold said he wants the MVP and also be the winner? What do you think of that? Você viu que ele falou, né, que ele quer ser o MVP e também o campeão. O que você acha disso?
Bom, é muito bom para ele, mas só que acho que todos os outros que estão aqui também sonham e querem ser MVP. Então é um bagulho muito difícil. E todo mundo, ele tá certo, todo mundo tem que ter esse desejo, essa ambição de querer ser MVP e ser campeão. Então ele tá certo.
Well, if his desire is the desire of most of players here, he's definitely right, because all of us wanted.
Well, those first 2 matches definitely set the tone for this finals day of Free Fire at EWC 26. We expected the teams, certain teams, to come out hot, and boy did they did. Buriram, especially Buriram, the first match, outstanding, and you were casting it too, Neptune.
Yeah, I was excited in there to cast and as well as to see them play. And from what we've seen in there, that's just the usual way for Buriram United. Just go in and grab the numbers as early as possible so that just in case anyone can catch up or they lose out on one game, they already have invested a few points.
And I'm excited to see what Buriram is going to be doing on that 3rd match, because this last match, they didn't get as many eliminations as we expected them to. Talking about teams that weren't really performing that well in the first 2 matches, we got to talk about the Indian teams. A lot of people were expecting them to come in hot. They're currently just not being able to perform against the top dogs. We'll see if maybe a switch up is going to happen with those squads. But I know you want to talk about Evos.
Yes, I want to talk about Evos and RRQ in particular, because boy, oh boy, my teams were booked and busy the first 2 maps. I think it's just a little bit unluckiness when it comes to the drop zone, because especially RRQ, if you're talking about Purgatory, that means they're going to have to go through a lot of themes. And yeah, it was right. They have to go through Falcons. They have Apex scamming on their way. So it was definitely a hard early game for them, especially at the Fire Brigade. They were also forced to be separated by Fluxo. They lost Abai. That was a huge hit. So I think and I hope that RRQ could be more wise when it comes to the rotation and maybe change a bit of their drop zones on the next coming games.
Oh, well, I know is Evos is hype right now because AIM got that 1v2 clutch towards the end. That was phenomenal. I was expecting that he will be going down. The zone is behind him and 2 opponents is already closing in.
Yeah, they were definitely closing in. I think nobody was expecting it. Good thing we don't have a behind-the-scenes camera in our green room, because the screams that you would hear, the reactions that you would hear, we might have to end up bleeping a lot of stuff here for the broadcast. Talking about teams being loud, we got to talk about the Brazilian squad loud.
And speaking of not, filming anything in the back, because my girl Carol is going crazy,
Yes.
obviously, for the Brazilian teams. I mean, I was saying these teams have arguably been some of the greatest teams in international tournaments. So getting the win today, it means so much more to them for their region. And honestly, I think it was like all 3 of them advanced from obviously the group stages. So to have all 3 Brazilian teams representing, but of course Loud is leading the pack in that one. After that first booyah, I mean, we heard it from the interview from the team captain. They're feeling really good about this, and it looks like they're still incredibly level-headed. But like to come out with I thought it was 33 points from the first match. They're not at the top of the leaderboard. He was kind of saying I wonder where we're sitting. I'm itching to see where we're sitting. I mean, knocked down to 2nd place, but still very much in contention to win this thing.
Yeah, the Indian teams were not able to continue on with the consistency or the momentum that they were able to get yesterday. One team that was able to carry on some momentum coming into the first two matches was none other than Lion. They started off hot and they're feeling confident too. We saw them willing to take fights early on.
Yeah, especially in Solara, Eco Drain. They were just rocking that fight. And anyone who goes into the compound, anyone who goes into Eco Drain, they will expect a roaring lion in there. Because like not only does it have a vending machine, just in case one of their players will be knocked out or eliminated, they can easily go for a revive and do it once again. But that's 4 teams, if I'm not mistaken, 4 teams or 3 teams who introduced themselves against a lion, and Lion stayed alive.
I mean, they're carrying that same strength from the survival stage yesterday. So not only did they go through the groups, they were in survival, and we didn't know where they were going to place, but they have that same sort of passion and aggressive play style that we saw from yesterday, bringing it into today's games. And it looks like, I mean, Lion's going to be leading the pack. They're doing incredibly well.
A team that wants to stride that lead as well, just make sure they kind of hunt that down and don't let it get too far away, was the team that actually just got a booyah, Twisted Minds.
Yes, Twisted Minds were also very amazing. I mean, they went from getting 0 placement point and just 5 elimination points to getting a booyah. That is quite a turnabout. I mean, that last game, 17 elimination points. That was awesome for Twisted Minds. And mind you, this is only the second booyah that they have the whole entire tournament. So I think things are looking up for Twisted Minds. Also, Thailand has got 4 representatives at the EWC 2026
I mean, I threw my cards at the first Twisted Minds.
Right.
Neptune doubted me. I don't know.
Right. So I think personally, it's not just Buriram United Esports that we have to keep an eye for. It's also Twisted Minds. They are slowly getting their points by points.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, Twisted Mind, the first time when we saw them, they're all aggression. They got no regard of whatever placement they get. As long as they get elimination, it doesn't matter. This is just, probably they tried it in game number 1. And as you called it, they didn't do too well. Only 5 points out of that game. And then a second, like, let's be a little bit smart. Let's play it safe. And you've seen how well they distanced themselves from all the engagement that happened and did manage to get that big booyah.
Yeah, we talked about earlier as well player performances. If we go back to the first match for Buriram, Joanna, 13 eliminations, absolute carry, and then we saw what Ingot, if I'm not mistaken, was able to do in that 1 versus 2. Is there any players coming up in this next 2 matches that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, Conchita?
I do think that Joanna's still gonna kill it. I mean, Buriram has 2 person that I'm keeping an eye out for is Joanna and Moshi, because let's not forget that 6 elimination points he got in just 1 game. So yeah, I'm definitely not gonna go easy on them. The other team should be gunning for Buriram United Esports right now if they don't want to lose those points.
And one personality of Buriram United that we know of is they want to steal away the MVP from each other. So Jonah is already in there, Moshi already show up. So I won't be surprised if the combination of the Russian support, Wasana and Get High, will be grabbing the next one.
And I mean, we've seen a massive improvement from them, even from EWC in 2025 as well. Like, this team obviously have, won their World Series, and now not only do they want an MVP, okay, who doesn't want that, but now if they can win that World Series and then EWC 26, imagine that trophy wall, guys, goddamn.
We're not asking for much. We're just asking for just win everything for the year. Why not? Talking about all these players, one player that I would like to see him being able to show up here at this stage as well, that maybe he hasn't been able to in the first 2 matches, and we know he performed really well in that group stage, is none other than Yago for Lost. Lost, we expected them coming in hot with what they were able to do in that group stage, but at the moment, they're just not putting themselves in that kind of position and going with another Brazilian team, and I think we have to mention him too, Neptune, is MT7. I feel like we need to see some of those pop-up performances that we're seeing out of the other players.
Now that you mentioned the both players right now, so I know it's not news to everyone that Yago as well as MT7 has been rivals for a very long time. There's also a little bit of a replacement happening, and you know how it is in Brazil. They go in for those battles. So I really love to see them face off against each other, but that means that they have to go 1v1.
Well, let's see if maybe we'll end up seeing a 1v1. Match 3 is ready. Who's going to be taking a couple more booyahs, and who's going to reach that threshold for the match point format of 90 points? AJ, take it away for me.
Yeah, boy, thank you very much, Seven. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with the one and only Husky, your OG duo of Free Fire, right back on the desk. And man, are the games hot today. Buriram absolutely streaking hot in game number 1, but game 2, Husky, they fizzled out.
Yeah, they did fizzle out, and it was something that, you know, was in the making for almost more than a year.
Yeah.
This is one of the teams that people want them to fill up that cabinet, the final piece of the puzzle with the EWC trophy. But last year, they didn't even hit the threshold to win EWC in Riyadh. And right now, they are a third of the way there. They are more than 30 points towards the threshold of 90. I think a couple more good rounds, give it 2 or 3, BRU, they are going to be in a prime position to take it all back.
And it looks like we are ready for our game already. At Shrines, do we get a hot drop? Because we know EVOS as well as MIBR Loss usually do drop by here, but thankfully they will choose the Foundation instead, and MIBR Loss will not be disturbed for the time being, but they cannot take that for granted because a potential rotation from EVOS, as they like sticking towards the outer regions of this map before hopping on towards Refinery. And Refinery, on the other hand, is conquered as usual by the kings of Refinery themselves, RRQ.
My attention is going to be on MT Sexy, that is now brought in by MIBR Law, so General not going to be playing this game. A second thing is also the rotation of BRU. We know that they love to go to command post, and command post is now preoccupied by Lion instead. BRU up against TAG once more.
Will the Indian squad wake up here in game number 3? At Kalahari, it's usually the Thai teams that have found dominance thus far here at Free Fire and EWC 26. Get high down, Wasana down, and it looks like India just needed Mustachio back on the desk as Team Apex Gaming absolutely shut down their plays, leaving one final survivor. Can they hunt down the final one? Moshi, the super sniper of Thailand, scurrying away as quickly as possible. No Morse on his side, no stealth buys. And Team Apex Gaming just need one more, and they get it. And the 3-time world champs out of Kalahari, all thanks to them.
Yeah, Wasana with his hands on his head because that was an absolute disaster for BRU. RRQ come.
But the Team Apex Gaming, who were literally at the very bottom of the leaderboard when we started, can they continue to rise up to the top? They have no idea who they took down. So I don't know if or not it's going to be a huge confidence boost for them. But as long as they can maintain this momentum after winning out that initial gunfight. Loud up against Falcons. On the other hand, Nix with the backstab. And you've got Waka from the front with a VSK. They got that done absolutely well. And now they're going in for the chase. Karoro's going to be stuck all alone here. Icewave's not going to find the tag on him just yet. But Trap cutting down the distance here. Max 7 in hand. Karoro's about to be popped and he puts him down on the ground. Beautiful play so far from the Brazilian squad.
Now, no way out of that for Karoro. Trap did say during the interview with Caro that they are feeling really good after the first booyah. And they have been local champions multiple times. And one of the things that is missing is this EWC trophy and the World Series finale. But at least for now, RRQ, also a team that only finishes second. They're definitely looking to break that curse here on Paris stage. A bite around the corner. That's going to be Joker down RRQ with their 6th point.
Yeah, easy takedown there. Lion left their player all alone outside just for a little bit of a distraction. And this was that replay, a phenomenal performance from Shoto. And he just shut down the hopes of Buriram in the second game after, once again, a fiery start for your 3-time world champions who have never gotten the first spot here at the Esports World Cup. They get taken out of the lobby prematurely. EVOS, on the other hand, Lion after Lion, they'll hunt down. We just saw RRQ find one earlier. Either way, Lion's not doing too well. Yakos can see the shots from the back. Man does not have the Morse at this point of time. They're going to be regretting bringing that Skylar in. But it is what it is. SHUL, on the other hand, bumping into yet another Brazilian squad out there. Yago with sliver of health, and Nameless AGAL from afar, cutting down the distance, slowly catching up with them. And perhaps this third party can allow SHUL to pull in a couple of revives.
Let's see if Bunny can make that rescue mission happen. MT7 could get pushed right now by Twisted Minds. Bob wants to provide long-range support, but he's getting pinned down as well. Twisted Minds with the pieces in place, getting knocked down from afar is Bob delivering on the platter. Twisted Minds stopped in their tracks.
Yeah, you sit on my shoulder, buddy. I'll pick you right up. Diamond brought right back in here by the Bass, and Bob's caught out. Diamond, beautiful play off the top of the 10th. M24 in hand, but Exposi looking for the vending machine. And Butches in will be able to take him away. The guard of the vending machine failed on his mission, and Twisted Minds don't get to take the squad out of the equation just yet.
A big clutch there from Butcherson. But earlier on, when we saw BRU get wiped out, it freed up command post, so Team Apex Gaming now have full control of the southern side of the map. Lion not in a good spot as Evos catches up to RRQ. Again, the rematch! The young gun of RRQ is the one that gets the drop, but Evos prevails. And they lock in their 5th point. Now around the corner is going to be a troll that is isolated. Ray finds that finisher.
Yeah, you can't roll the one and only Evos. 6 eliminations in hand already. Unfortunate for SHUL, they were all spread out on the battlefield. MIBR lost on the other hand, bumping into Falcons yet again. This one just does not end. Empty Sexy down on the ground. Round A7 on a high ground here, has got the Winchester in hand. Pina in shooting distance, in the crosshairs of Raone, but he does not get the job done. He has to be pushed off here. As on fire catches up with him, and from up top the SPD straight to the head. Raone was looking for the vending machine, but prevented. And Yago's going to turn tails here, trying to get out of there as quickly as possible. But the hit list has been bought. And MIBR with their final player, although they have the stealth bites, they're not going to be able to get away from this. Falcons, they know exactly where he is. And this is going to be the end for MIBR here in this lobby.
Yeah, the Red Tide Rhythm, just to confirm the elimination, Yago can hide all he wants, but there's no escaping the talents of the Falcons. MIBR lost, removed in 9th place. And that puts Loud and Twisted Minds in a comfortable spot. Both teams who have had a booyah so far now leading the pack just because BRU is not in it.
On the next update, we're going to see Morris' capability, man. We try to stay hidden, but got exposed in a totally different way. Brilliant play, brilliant strategy out of Falcons. And now, Twisted Minds versus Fluxo. Bob's MT7 as the rest of Twisted Minds use the zip line to cross the battlefield. Diamond has got MT7 in his crosshairs. MT7 on the other hand, focusing on the airdrop. They want to make sure they've got the weapons of choice to take on Twisted Minds as well as the utilities, but the Bass with the advantage. M590 needs another one, almost messed that up. But MT7, the sniper, just could not take a decent CQC.
Yep, Twisted Minds with the daylight robbery and an extra point under their pocket. Fluxo forced to run away. Pot shots headed towards Boss. Butcherson needs to hold the forest to find an isolated Joker. But they need to secure some space at the sub for MT7 to come back into the lobby. Fluxo surprisingly very, very spread out as a team on the southern side of the map.
If you look at this map, usually we've seen dominance out of the Thai squad so far. Falcons, Buriram, AGAL. All of them have 1 booyah each on this Kalahari map. With Buriram out of the equation already, perhaps Falcons and AGAL will be the biggest threats later. Fluxo, on the other hand, they've got a booyah for themselves on this Kalahari map as well in their run here at EWC 26. But as far as those points are concerned, they didn't really rake in a lot of eliminations. In fact, Fluxo hasn't really looked very strong on the battlefield so far as the eliminations.
Yeah, not at all. I definitely expected a bit more, but I'm looking for them to ramp up maybe game 3 and 4 onwards, right? This is the team that needs some time to warm up their engines. But one of the theme of this game is the fact that 2 of the biggest strongholds are Refinery and Command Post because of RRQ and BRU. Both of them are not in the lobby, which means that there's a lot of real estate freed up for everyone else. The game should slow down temporarily until maybe the 11th minute mark. And until then, we're going to see stragglers being picked off left and right and then brought back by the vending machine. And that means it's going to be some free points for the teams who managed to find these eliminations.
Buddy tried his best there to get to the vending machine, but unfortunately the Valiant Dash used against him. Not really to disable any of his defenses, but just to cut the distance down. And Exposing finding Jack as well. And now SHUL left with 1 final survivor. Can India find a way to get back into this matchup through this squad?
And Team Apex Gaming, on the other hand, started off really hot up against Buriram, but they've been silent so far. AGAL finding the Brazilians. Loud, and a grenade M79 up into the top floor. Trap will be pushed down by the M590, and that starts off a big one, and that's a massive advantage because that's the player that had the M79 on the side of the Brazilian squad. Cypher traded out, deal with the shot from afar with the M82B, and they dismantle Loud with that play.
Perfect execution from AGAL. I think there was a bit of a miscom there from Loud, who tried to run down the stairs, and Trap absolutely caught out. Not really sure what the plan was, but Cypher with the great execution on the Valiant Dash sealed the deal there.
I think the play there was supposed to be the M79 to be sent down to that lower ground, and then of course those grenades to take out the players from the front lines. But unfortunately, before he could get into position, he just got shot out of this spot with the M590. Beautiful play out of Cypher there in that moment. But now Twisted Minds up against EVOS. Both these teams know each other very well from the Southeast Asian region. And it is EVOS right now leading with the eliminations as well as the utilities. Twisted Minds not too far behind them. But you look at the long reposition, that's probably, I think, Exposi trying to get into spot to see if he can flank around. AGAL watching this battle from afar as well. If Dew finds Aim God, this is going to be deadly.
Yeah, we can say the same for if Russia gets a clear shot. Diamond's already tagged out. We have Fluxo on the high ground too. So Twisted Minds not really comfortable staying out in the open at Foundation. They need to find some cover here. But with EVOS pushing in, they got to pick a poison.
Yeah, you got to pick a poison, man, either way. I think there's a fair chance you do not find the antidote for either one of them. More stealth bites used by Russia. He gets a easy flank around the left-hand side to find the circle first before the rest of his brothers. And the rest of the frontliners on the side of EVOS will be holding Twisted Minds back. And Russia, right after he gets into spot, he gets shot in the back by the player from the side of Fluxo, most probably MT7. EVOS calls for the Bolt Maker. Lightning zone now. Twisted Minds cannot step out into the open. Aim God with one misplay that does not manage to get the first knockdown in the Valiant Dash. Almost saving him, but it was that A124 thrill of battle that gave them the bravery to step into that battle. But Twisted Minds turning the situation around for themselves.
Yeah, and Russia needs to build his team out right now. Finds a nade and a snipe. Russia going above and beyond and putting EVOS on his back.
One more.
Exposi and the Bars, remainders of Twisted Minds. Russia again, the Wonder Kid with the delivery system. Can he complete the cycle here as the Bars desperately bringing his teammates back with the revive? But Russia has done more than enough. It's his turn to maybe get his teammates back into the game. The Bars over the glue. Whoa, the Bars comes out on top.
Ah, the Bars, beautiful. Gets the insurance policy first on that revive, bringing Diamond back into play and then going for the shutdown. But their chances of surviving this lobby and getting a booyah is absolutely slim. The Bass is going to probably get taken out of the equation here outside the circle, tanking a lot of damage. Apex, on the other hand, right beside SHUL, who have had a full squad recovery, looking for the next zone. Can he stay a ninja? Nah, they've spotted him already, and Apex is going to get tagged up. Probably this is the end for EVOS here.
Yeah, it's either them or it's either SAUL, AGAL that takes that away. Just a free point sitting out in the open. If you are the Indian team, you definitely would want that point as you are sitting at the bottom. As we lose Twisted Minds off screen too, Apex is just trying to... I mean, he did gain an extra placement point for himself before Dew finally collects that. So we are going to go down to just 6 more teams.
AGAL as well as Fluxo, the only 2 other teams that have managed to secure a booyah on Kalahari from this EWC stage. Can they take it all the way? Lion has been fairly quiet after a few mishaps at the very start. Haven't secured a single elimination for themselves. Fluxo, on the other hand, tanking a lot of damage outside the circle. Spots out SHUL on that rotation. Jack's getting tagged up by Barros. AGAL like shooting fish in a barrel. And Fluxo wants to steal that away. MT7 knocks down Troll. He makes sure he gets the confirmation as well. AGAL getting those shots in, making sure they scare the players on the side of Fluxo back. And they're trying to keep Buddy Pinson in.
Yeah, this is a good game for Fluxo and AGAL to pull ahead of the curve because some of the Apex players are already out.
One more.
Cypher, can he get the snipe in? It's Dew again, of course. Never doubt this guy. Bunny is also pinned down behind that glue wall, and it's only a matter of time before AJL finds him. Lion now will join that fight, and maybe that's the distraction that will bail Fluxo out of the situation as they fight against TAG.
Yeah, brilliant recovery by Fluxo here, instantly jumping out of that monster truck, getting the pickup with the glue walls, and they take Bunny out of the equation as well. Unfortunately, the Circle actually claimed that point off of them. As SHUL Esports makes the exit from the lobby, we now have the top 3, and 2 out of the 3 teams are definitely geared up for the Booyah here. Falcons, just the one team that's straight on in. Can they make it out of here? I totally forgot that they were still alive and kicking. All 3 of these teams have already performed at Kalahari, and they're looking to pull off their second Booyah. Which one will be able to secure that for themselves? Cypher bringing the whole squad of AGL together with him, backing him up as he cuts the distance down between their squad as well as Fluxo, but they realize right under the bridge, Fluxo will be dangerous. And they take a quick U-turn, but they'll have to deal with Falcons here. And they're going to hope and pray that it is Fluxo that finds Falcons first. Jump pad getting them in, but that's a bad move. First one gets snuffed out of the air. Pina with a double. On fire finds Nameless. And AGAL losing 2 too early.
This is good for Fluxo. Keroro made his rotation too late and went down to the blue. Pina did take down Dew, but now Fluxo completely freed out and might get an advantageous fight against Falcons. Pina needs some help, but the blue zone is pushing them straight into the heat of Fluxo, who are coming at them with full force. View exposed and Limit with the first one to even the odds out. Fluxo forward, pushes in with the dash in. Pina covering himself and pushes in. Now needs assistance. Gets knocked down, finds a trade again. It's Limit trying to hold Falcon together, but he falls in the hands of MT7. Pina brought back up, pops in front of him, on fire, providing help. Falcons side by side. As Fluxo looks to turn the corner, the pre-fire comes through, Peanut rushes in, MT7 holds his own, MT7 delivers on fire with the trade. Can Bob steal it? The captain of Fluxo can do it! On fire! It's on fire! And Falcons get their Booyah!
Yes, second Booyah at Kalahari. The 5th time they make their run here on this map, and they're truly dominant. But a well-played game for all 3 teams that squeeze themselves towards that final circle. A brilliant play by Falcons. They got locked down by the thrill of battle off of that A124 initially, but it was Pina and his M590 perfection. Well-timed glue wall, circled around it. Could not use his active skill, but it didn't matter. He went in for the pop, an instant pickup to maintain the numbers advantage, and the distraction with the extra player on the side of Falcons, more than enough to allow On Fire to pop off towards the very end. A brilliantly executed final circle for Falcons.
This is something that Falcons is very good at. You put them at a disadvantage, they will somehow even the odds out and then tip the scales in their favor.
เล่นก่อนปืนกลางว้าว
And you see the prioritization of the Tiva there as well, and that's exactly what got them that instant pickup in such a dire situation. Without the focus on Tiva, I think they would have been wiped out already, and that's exactly what makes these passive skills so important at a level like this, Husky.
Absolutely, and because of that, Falcons get themselves 28 points from Kalahari, but Fluxo and AJL, they're not too far behind, right? 21 for Fluxo, 19 for AJL. These are the teams that actually needed these points the most, with BRU and Loud Snickers out of the equation early on, and now we should start seeing a bit of a separation from the top 6 and the bottom 6, because it's starting to look like it's a top-heavy game.
A great recovery for Team Apex Gaming as well. India had a phenomenal run yesterday. First 2 matches, not really on their side. This is the game they wake up on, but SHUL still lagging behind a tad bit, but at the very least, not at the very bottom of this leaderboard for Kalahari. But on the overall leaderboard, I'm fairly sure they're still at the bottom. They need to do a lot, and they have to hope and pray that this day does not end quick, because you very well know that it could just happen. Now Team Falcons, after that game, I'm very sure they're somewhere around the 50-point region. And if they give us exactly what they gave at the grand finals, the very first match was a 40-point bomber, they might just activate the champion rush condition or the match point in this very next game.
You're right, AJ. I mean, they still hold the world record for most points in a single game.
Amen.
If they deliver that, it is going to be, you know, Another one of those examples where Falcons prove that they are the superior team. And can you imagine being a two-time champion at EWC? They already have the 2 stars as the club champion, so why not make that run it back?
Yeah, absolutely, man. 2 teams out here on that stage capable of becoming the 2-time world champions for Free Fire at the Esports World Cup. You've got EVOS, you've got Falcons, but are they going to be upset by the squads out there today? Because if you look at the overall leaderboard, based on the performance that we saw off of Kalahari earlier, it's currently going to be stacked with the Thai teams at the top.
Absolutely. And the one thing that I was worried about coming into this grand finals, even after yesterday, was if these Thai teams are going to go aggressive, and so far they have been. So let's see if they can keep that Thai freight train going. We'll be right back with more action.
What a game, and welcome back to our station. I'm Yusel, and right next to me is Lucifer. Wow, okay, so before we start everything, I must talk about India teams. Alright, so I think that stepping into the finals, they are a little bit struggling, but look at TAG at the first beginning of the game 3. Clear all Woodham United Esports? What are you going to say about that, Lucifer?
They needed that initial start to get an idea about the stage itself, because grand finals, come on, it's not that easy. But they have done it. They took down Buriram and almost fully taking down EVOS as well. So brilliant stuff coming in from their end, but also have to add on to Loud's consistency coming through. This time AJL might have troubled them, but you can see Loud for Brazil, they're also moving in that direction. And I really like how these teams, on one end India, on the other end Brazil, everybody's trying to take this trophy away from Southeast Asia.
Exactly. Okay, so we have Brazil teams here, Loud and Fluxo. They are doing pretty great, right? But what is wrong with Lost? I just keep questioning myself during the 3 games past. Like, what is really wrong with them? Like, I don't really know what is happening to Lost. Like, have you got any idea?
I think right as now it's Loud as well as Fluxo. They're the ones who are picking up, and MIB are lost. Unfortunate, they're coming in the mix of that battle and they're unable to pull it off. Hopefully they do something different that works in their favor, but one team that did in their favor to get back what they did in EWC 24 is Falcons, that they want to be a 2-time EWC champion.
Great, but what about EVOS? Because they are getting a little slower than during the 3 games away. But I'm really impressed with the final play. We have our last circle, AJAL, Fluxo, and also Team Falcons. And Falcon Pina is definitely on fire. He's played really nice, even in the last circle. Control the game's really nice. We cannot talk about on fire, but he's getting fire in his back, and I'm really proud of my little boy here.
Falcons indeed are getting their fire back in, because they know that they need this trophy once again. They need to become the 2-time. It's not seen yet here. And if they do it at Esports World Cup 2026 Paris, they will be elated. They will have their key right here. That's the reason we're standing right next to the game trophy, along with 3 keys that they could maybe crush and take it home. But again, the reason I say maybe is this is Falcons getting their very first booyah, the second in the overall tournament. So there's a lot that they have to do yet.
Yes, and I'm looking forward more to see our teams, because this is unlimited games, right? Reach more to 90 points. Okay, so let's back to our studio, shall we?
Thank you very much, Lucifer and Yun So. We are about to hop into game number 4, and it is Bermuda time, back to the origins of Free Fire. And you're right, so far some of these front runners from Thailand and Brazil have been hitting it hard. MIB are lost, nowhere to be found, but hopefully they are going to start showing up, because we don't want to end by game 5 or 6, AJ. We want to double that. We want to go game 12 to make use of the unlimited games available in this grand finals. So let's see if some of the bottom dwellers can deliver us a surprise on Bermuda.
I've got my eyes on 2 teams, Loud from Brazil and Team Apex Gaming from India. Like I said, man, they needed the big mustache on the desk so that India can get a little bit more excited. Let's see if or not they take this one all the way. They haven't had a booyah on Bermuda just yet, but I'm hoping this is the first one for TAG Fluxo. In a little bit of a danger zone here. I'm talking about TAG. And they're making me a tad bit nervous. Do you drop at Fortunon? It might just happen. TAG, you better win this one out.
This is quite the shift, because usually Fluxo prefers to go straight for Mars Electric.
I know, right?
So this either intentional by Fluxo or TAG have something that we don't know. Thankfully, they're not directly on top of each other, so there's some real estate they can both share in the vicinity. But TAG, they've already lost Woven, Shoto and Sahil Jat. Now really looking too healthy. Shoto in the front, but MT7 coming out on top. And Fluxo again off to a good start.
A very callous push there in that situation. Shoto's down, Butch is in as well as Jiu. Shot from afar. Didn't really get to see exactly who was that taking the shots up against them, but it doesn't matter. Katie God's on the way out of this sticky situation. And like a cowboy, he's riding away. No sunset, so I guess it doesn't matter.
In this context, luckily there's no sunset.
Nuh-uh.
That would be an early exit for TAG.
Hey, don't say that. I was waiting for them to come back.
Same, man. I was hoping the same as well, right? And again, that's the concern that I did brought up. Because I was expecting that, you know, the Thai teams, the experienced one, especially those that qualified directly into the grand finals and didn't have to play yesterday, they're going to come in hot, looking for eliminations to get that big lead. And that's exactly what happened in game one. You know, BRU did that, Twisted Minds did it in the game two, Laos got a booyah. So for the teams from India, this is probably the biggest pressure that they've ever faced. And under all these aggressions from the teams and how fast the lobby has been going, it is going to take a while for them to get used to it, and it better come fast.
Yeah, looking at what Fluxo did here, they're definitely going in for the hunt onto Team Apex Gaming. They managed to take down Katie God, but that's not going to give them an extra advantage because the revival was already completed. The squad is on the way back in. So very intentional play, executed to perfection there by the Brazilian Giants. Fluxo getting 4 points off of TAG at the very get-go. Buriram, on the other hand, just 1 point claim so far. They send the UAV out. Can they find more?
Well, TAG got lucky for just a little bit because they actually went to peak, and that's where Buriram usually spends a bit more time hanging around. So because Buriram moved to Bimasakti Strip, TAG actually gets a second chance in this lobby.
Oh yeah.
Not so lucky, not so sure about Los though, because they're about to run into BRU. Lion beelining towards where the boss is, and that could be some info the Twisted Minds can use, but I don't think they want to fight right now. They want to get those revives.
Lion versus one player from the side of Twisted Minds. Bass is going to get caught in a tight little spot here. Joker with the M24, flanking around the right-hand side. Della pushing on forth. Spots out Bass. Joker gets the first shot in. Bass pulls up a good glue wall. He's going to be able to block the shots from Della. Grenade's not going to find him just yet. Bass has got the Trogon in hand, but Joker will RGS him out of the equation. And Troll from up top. SHUL trying to interfere in the situation, but the time turner is going to allow the Lions to pick their buddy up and find that recovery as well. An extra glue wall inside the time turner just in case they break it down. But just no aggression from the side of SHUL just yet with those shots. Limit is going to get tagged up here as well. And it is a battle that I did not expect to see the Thai Giants join. And this is now turning into a three-way fight. And SHUL might be able to get away as Lions now start shooting down the Falcons.
Yeah, SHUL is the team that has info on both Falcons and Lion, and that's why they instantly backed off and leave Lion to be the Falcon problem instead of themselves. Limit just got picked back up, so Falcons didn't really have much time to pick themselves into shape. But there's still a trade between Lion and Falcons. Karoro finding Games King. That is the back broken on the Lion side. They no longer have the anchor, and Lion will be forced to split up.
Brilliant play, brilliant counter by Falcons. Although they were in a tight little spot there, using the jump pad to see if they can pull away some numbers from that equation, intentionally or unintentionally help the Indian squad of SHUL survive. And the Lions didn't go in for the pressure since Falcons got a couple of numbers off of them as well. Now the Bears still under pressure. This time it's EVOS that finds him. And that's about it. What a turnaround. M1917 gets the knock. Can he get the confirmation? No, he gets a double! Can he get a triple? Locked down by the thrill of battle. The flank comes through from the back. Good glue wall. And he gets the elimination. The best, you monster.
Absolutely insane play there. Hunted down by the entirety of EVOS and comes out with
man.
a 2-0 head-to-head so far. And the entire game,
one more?
he has been alone. He has been isolated. And finally, Ray takes him out. But it did come at a cost for EVOS. They are forced to soft reset.
Good anticipation for Ray there off of the BSK. Siljat in the vehicle. A disadvantage up against Strap, who has the Woodpecker. Katie got, and now they're all spread out on the battlefield. Twisted Minds right above on the revive. Don't tell me he's going to drop right in here. That might be the distraction that Team Apex Gaming is going to need. SHUL, on the other hand, up against Falcons. In this compound, Falcons have got the high ground advantage. Limit, Riptide Rhythm sent out already, so he's on cooldown for the active skill. Jack's going to be spotted out from afar. Pina quickly repositions towards the lower ground. They pulled out the Painted Refuge off of that Steffi earlier on, but no nades were sent from the side of Falcons. So that could be the active wasted. It's a 2v2. Time Turner used a little prematurely.
Nice.
Pina gets caught out though. That's a big play, and Buddy with the Trogon goes in for the doozy. And the follow-up will put Falcons out of the equation. SHUL Esports still alive.
Perfect stuff from Tro with the Car 98. And the cluster to set it up as well, completely scattering the front line of Falcons right into the crosshair of Tro. And TAG on the other hand, you wanted the Indian team to step up, AJ. I think they're granting your wish as they were chasing down isolated members as well. And this could put them in a good spot and give them more games in this finals. With Falcons removed, now it is Twisted Minds and Fuxo's chance to get ahead.
Bharat Mataki, Jay. That's the way, baby. But of course, it's not enough. They're still towards the bottom of the leaderboard. If they can climb up consistently, maybe get into the final circle, they stand a good chance. Man, the Bass is just having an unlucky run here in this Bermuda lobby. Tagged up again, can he pull off a superstar play? This time it's Katie God with the M1917, the double revolvers up against the Bass, who does have the SMG in hand. The Bison, deadly. Katie God needs a sharp shot here. The Bass quickly finding the recovery off of the Superman and the backup from afar. Unfortunate. Exposi brought right back in here. Twisted Minds continuously on the revives now. Shoto needs to turn tails and get the heck out of there, because you've got two players on the side of Twisted Minds with a high ground advantage, and Diamond has the VSK. That's it. He tries to get away. Diamond, are you going to miss all of those shots? Shoto,
one more.
Some luck is keeping him alive, but finally taken down. Took too long for Diamond, but finally sorted that out.
Longer than they needed. Exposi, he is running all the way from peak to join his teammates. Vovin is still up, but this vending machine is so far away. And Mill, I think that's where he's heading. We saw that Dinoculus being used earlier on, but it also could be from AJL to make sure that there's no team coming in from the eastern side.
Yeah.
SAUL have been juking it off with BRU for quite some time. Let's see if Bunny can come out on top. The blue wall all go down at the same time. Is Bunny against the captain and Jonah Besson.
Man, I mean, Jonah's a monster always, but in that situation, he was definitely outnumbered. The rest of the players from the side of Buriram is having the crosshairs on him from afar. Moshi spotting out Jack as well, but Jack, with the Valiant Dash, will be able to put a little bit of a distance between himself as well as the super sniper of Buriram. But the rest of the SHUL players are not out of the woods just yet. Spotted out by Buriram. Jonah as well as Get High XL out in the open. Troll has got the Car 98 and the VSK.
Oh no.
The quick scopes will get him absolutely nothing. Perfect defense off of Buriram. On the opposite end, we've got Loud bumping into EVOS.
Yeah, he doesn't see Jonah with a stealth
Lion?
so that could be dangerous. EVOS here. Is it another three-way fight? If it is,
could even be a four-way, Husky.
RRQ joins it. You call it.
There you go.
With the snipe onto BZP. Apex is going to try and capitalize on this, but he's going to be pinned down in this warehouse as well. If Lion pushes this, it is going to be bad news for EVOS.
Yeah, good recovery for Loud here. Just quickly going on to the drone, making sure RRQ does not get those easy shots. And assisted by EVOS from down the bottom as well, who lay out all of those glue wall melters. They call out the Painted Refuge from Steffi, protecting them from any nades that will be tossed up onto the roof. So that's a brilliant defense here by Loud. That ice grenade's not going to do anything to them. Dragon Freeze will not scratch them at all. But the Painted Refuge used up already. They all get tagged up by the Moko. EVOS knows exactly where they are. All thanks to lightning zone as well, and Loud has got nowhere to go.
They're actually trapped on this roof, but the good news is that it is right in the center of the circle, so they still have some time to plan their escape route if needed, or at least just hold here and wait for the other teams to take themselves out.
One more.
Apex under pressure, trap, clear vision of him. BRU crippled, unfortunately, as they actually lost the fight against S8UL off screen. So Moshi will have to backtrack from where he came from.
The two Indian teams are still alive, so I'm a happy man. Buriram on the other hand, rough round here. Moshi. Could just see the end here, Nameless. I don't know if he knows.
Cypher should check this.
Flanking around, Cypher.
Get him.
Spots him. Moshi is not going to survive this one. Buriram taken out. Their banner burned out of the skies. Fantastic start. Just no great follow-up from your three-time world champs.
0 placement points again, AJ. Another early exit. Twisted Mind challenging TAG and Exposi. I mean, so far the pass has been hot and he's continued to be hot. Rushes into the field. They lose 2, but same as TAG, can Wolvin pull this back? They've already lost their star Shoto. So it all comes down to Wolvin and Sahujat to make some magic happen. Gonna try to go into the other side of the building, out the window. Wolvin needs some distance to reconvene with his teammates.
Oh man, the guy had no glue walls. He almost got shot in the back. But thanks to his lucky stars, I'm very sure they're aligned for the team perfectly right now.
Looks so.
But luck is about to run out for TAG. They do not have the resources needed to survive this final circle, and they don't have the number of players on their side as well. Will luck be on their side? A Riptide Rhythm from another squad, giving the opener here. S8UL losing lives one after the other as well on the opposite end. And the four-way fight still has Loud alive and kicking up on top.
They are holding on so well. So much medkits and glue wall to work with. They've weathered the storm for now, so RQ is going to be their next problem, but at least they have the warehouse to drop into if needed.
Wow.
Fluxto did bail TAG out from the jaws of Twisted Minds for a while, but now TAG will have to somehow get out of this with minimal resource.
S8UL, although they survived long enough into the 12th-minute mark, placement points-wise, they don't really get anything much off of this lobby at all. Team Apex Gaming with 2 final survivors, a double caught on the outside. Twisted Minds hopping on in. And they find a quick recovery before perhaps taking the fight up against Team Apex Gaming. They just need to knock on that door slightly and they'll be able to get 2 free points, unless, of course, Wolvin and Siljat show us some miracle, because they have no glue walls to play around with. They'll just have to take a straightforward gunfight.
The Lion just wiped out 3 out of the 4 Fluxo members too, as they were going on the cross. The high ground advantage was too good for Lion to pass up, and now Tahiji is going to get absolutely ran through by the bars. They should spell the end of TAG and get out into the blue. Wolvin actually finds that revive on the KD God to extend their lifeline, and he's on the MT7. Wolvin though loses the fight, but MT7 did eventually perish to the blue.
Yeah, Wolvin did manage to collect that elimination off of him. Brilliant play, but of course Team Apex Gaming, that's going to be their consolation prize. They survived definitely much longer, but elimination points wise, that's exactly where we see the big improvement coming through from the squad. But they need way more than that to climb a leaderboard in a massive lobby like this. Not their fault at all. On the survival stage, you didn't have these big boys, you didn't have these monsters prowling around. It's a tough lobby to say the least. Lions now rotating away from Twisted Minds. Fluxo versus RRQ, the big fight. Dude still alive and kicking, but lost. Doing a number on them, spotting out Rams. Circling around the glue wall, won't get clapped by the thrill of battle, and the A124 does RRQ in. The sniper of RRQ can't do much in this situation, tries to run away, prevented by Rigby. Easy points for MIBR, and that's the 4 that they pick up in this lobby.
Good stuff. MIBR needed an intervention. They needed a way back into this finals, and I think they found that opening. Now it's about converting that into more. Lau still holding on strong. The next circle. Let's see if it decides whether Lau gets to stay. Nope, out into the open we go. AJL, they are primary position to vulture all of these points from the far. And if AJL gets this booyah, they are going to be so close to 90 points.
How long has Loud stayed on this roof? They have played their defense perfectly. Nobody has been able to punish them. Nobody has been able to kick them off. Now the blue zone will finally do the job. removing the Brazilian squad off of that roof. But the question is, how will they make their move in towards the next circle? Now, Lightning Zone has been called out. It is not AGAL's bolt maker, potentially from MIBR, as they are looking to make their way a long journey towards the next zone. Glue wall melters laid out here by AGAL. General's going to be in a lot of trouble, but the shots, the cover from Yago allows him to make the quick rotation round, and MIBR still safe.
The only way to really make this competitive is for Lost to get that booyah somehow, allow wiping out Twisted Minds members. BZP hanging on by a thread, now top back up. That's the quad and the fifth for BZP. Nyx comes in as well, but Lion shows up and Della leads the charge. Games King also winning out his one against Guaksha. Lion not to be denied.
Yeah, Lion steps on in right after that double nade from the side of Twisted Minds. Beautiful play. And of course, it is Lions that get the biggest slice of this pie through those points. Diamond still clapped by the thrill of battle. He can't use his active skills just yet. Goes in for the Superman right outside the zone. Tanking a lot of damage. Traps down on the ground. BZP needs to go in here for the pickup, and Games King can't find the final player. Diamond going in for the shutdown.
Oh my goodness.
A sliver of health left here for BZP. And Diamond gets the final player, and it is an all-out Thailand final circle that's clapped by AGL for the booyah.
And they have now officially hit that critical mass. They are so close to 90 points. This booyah, I believe, paired with 11 eliminations, puts them one good game away from the 90-point threshold. How sweet would that be? They came up a global finals clash squad victory, but it was something that people brushed aside because it's not Battle Royale, it's not the Holy Grail. But now the Holy Grail right in front of them is just one step away.
Before this match, they were 33 points away. I wonder if or not they've managed to pull off a phenomenal run. I mean, if you look at it from the grand scheme of things, these three Thai squads, Team Falcons, Twisted Minds, AGAL, they didn't really go all out in the first game like what Buriram did. But right after that, you see the consistency out of these boys. And Falcons and Twisted Minds already with their booyah earlier, and AGAL just picking one up for themselves as well. So if you look at it from the grand scheme of things, Southeast Asia doing phenomenally well out there.
This has to feel like deja vu for BRU. This was exactly what happened back in Riyadh in 2025. Get a hot start on Bermuda in game one, and then absolute silence. And it has happened 2 rounds in a row. You gotta feel what the players are thinking. I think Wasana is starting to feel the stress as well. Hands on his head in game 3 and really just slumping back on the chair after game 4 ended. But there's one team that deserves Twisted Minds. They missed out last year. Jump was with poor memory. They didn't even make 80 points. They finished last in Riyadh. He joined Twisted Minds, and now they are here, and they are ever so close.
Absolutely. But are they close enough to the consistency of AGAL? They have been dominating Clash Squad, and they have also been ripping away massive points in whichever Battle Royale lobby they hop on into. Any tournament that they've visited so far, they've definitely found the top 3 for themselves, and now they're looking to become the champions here for Free Fire at Esports World Cup 2026 Paris. And they're not too far away from doing exactly that. 90 points, that's our match point target. And right now they may just be, like you said, 1 game away.
Yeah, 1 game away from 90. And if everything goes according to plan for AGAL, game 6 is where they lift that trophy. It would be a fast finals. I mean, not that we've not seen it. We saw it back in spring when Team Secret walked away with 4 consecutive booyahs, but AGAL has such a good run so far. But again, we did highlight Twisted Minds earlier on, and now we have them on stage. Let's hear what they have to say.
Welcome back to the main stage. My name is Barney Banks, and I've got Exposy here from Twisted Minds, playing absolutely out of their skin at this point. Exposy, I want to just quickly ask you, if we look back to groups, you guys would play relatively slowly and you would gain momentum throughout the day, and then obviously you'd end on a high, obviously winning your group. However, today you've come out really aggressive. Was that always the plan?
ก็คำถามแรกนะฮะถ้าเกิดมองย้อนไปตอนกรุ๊ปสเตจเนี่ยฮะตอนนั้นเราเล่นกันแบบว่าค่อยๆไปเรื่อยๆแบบว่าไต่ขึ้นไปเรื่อยๆแบบเงียบๆจนสุดท้ายแล้วเนี่ยเราจบที่1ของกรุ๊ปสเตจเลยนะฮะแต่ว่าพอมารอบแกรนด์ไฟนอลเนี่ยฮะพวกเราฟอร์มของพวกเราออกไปทางร้อนแรงแล้วก็เอ็กซ์เซสซีฟค่อนข้างมากเลยเป็นยังไงบ้างฮะตอนนี้
ก็ดีครับทีมได้ปั่นจักรยานไปหอไอเฟลครับก็เลยเล่นดีครับ
Yeah, actually, like
the reason behind like our aggressive style is like because we got a chance to like ride a bicycle to the Eiffel Tower, so we have a lot of energy to play today.
Because you rode a bicycle to the Eiffel Tower. That's pretty cool. Let's talk about the current situation that you're in right now on the leaderboard, okay? You're from one of the strongest regions coming into this, alongside the likes of Falcons, AGAL, yourselves as well, and of course, Buriram United Esports. How does it feel right now to be sitting, towards the top of the leaderboard, almost leading the charge?
ก็ถ้าเกิดมองไปที่ลีดเดอร์บอร์ดตอนนี้นะฮะเทียบกับสกอร์ของทีมที่มาจากรีเจียนเรานะฮะไม่ว่าจะเป็นว่าฟาลคอนนะฮะบุรีรัมย์หรือไม่ก็ทีมอื่นทวิสเต็ดมายหรือว่าอื่นๆก็ตามนะฮะคะแนนของเราตอนนี้เนี่ยค่อนข้างโดดออกไปทีเดียวแล้วก็ตอนค่อนข้างสูงแล้วก็เกือบถึง90แล้วนะฮะรู้สึกไงบ้างครับ
ก็รู้สึกดีแล้วครับทีมเล่นดีก็ฝากคนไทยเชียร์เยอะนะครับ
Yeah, I'm very happy and very satisfied for the result of our performance, and hopefully, like all the Thai fans and everyone around the world, keep supporting them till the end.
Well, finally, before I let you go, I just want to ask you what it would mean to you and your teammates, and of course your community watching, to lift this incredible trophy that you see before you.
คำถามสุดท้ายนะฮะก็รู้สึกไงบ้างฮะแล้วก็คิดว่าแฟนๆจะรู้สึกไงบ้างในนาทีที่เราได้ยกถ้วยรางวัลนี้ขึ้นมาฮะ
ก็ดีใจครับซ้อมมาเหนื่อยก็ถ้าทำได้ก็ดีครับ
Yeah, very happy because we're going so hard for this year, like we're giving everything we got, and hopefully we can finally lift the trophy.
Okay, well, yeah, it shows. You guys are trying extremely hard. It shows. Congratulations on where you're on the leaderboard. If you guys lift that trophy, I'll ride a bicycle with you guys to the Eiffel Tower. And so with that being said, we're going to head back over to the studio before we come back with some more free fire action, baby.
more point than them. So this is what we expect from Fluxo, but it is the consistency that we don't tend to see from them. It's just they get the big games in, and that's how they're maintaining their points.
That is so brave of you to say, because we're standing right behind the supporters right now. But one thing that I can also say is that at least they're doing better than my Indonesian teams, okay?
Yeah.
Because as we all see, EFOS and Arkaryuk are having quite a hard time. They only have 41 and 36 points overall now without any Booyah. So I'm just hoping and praying, because like I said before, they are booked and busy on the previous matches. They somehow had the worst positioning of all time. This is just not their day.
Yeah, I do agree, especially in that moment where Ma could have survived, like trying his best, but unfortunately, like he was just caught off guard. And that has been the same situation even in the regionals in Southeast Asia. So I thought they did manage to pull out of that, because there were some instances where even in a shotgun, he can battle it out. He can duke it out against a 1v1 and 1v2, but that is a different mode, a Clash Squad. In Battle Royale, I think they are just going back to their usual ways, and it's not working.
And Neptune, talking about the next map coming up, Nextera. I mean, we usually end up looking at some skills. We end up seeing some crazy stuff. What are you specifically going to be looking at for Nextera?
Oh, this is where the teams will be farming all those eliminations, because despite of this is similar to the size of say Purgatory Bermuda, we are seeing a lot of compounds in here. Most of the compounds is a hiding spot for those who's trying to survive, as well as the vending machine available. So this is where, in most cases in tournament, we get to see a lot of revives and then a lot of elimination as well.
Now the question is, who's doing the farming and who's getting farmed? Because right now, like I said, I am hoping and praying for our Indian teams, because they do have what it takes. We all seen that happening on the survival stage, but somehow right now they just have to shake off those final jitters, I think, because
it even looked good for S8UL for that one moment, but then what happened?
I don't know. That's exactly
Tell me, girl, what
we should be asking to the players, because they look chill as hell right now, and we need to get them refocused, because Nextera, again, this is not going to be an easy map for anyone.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be an easy map for anyone, especially for those bottom teams. But at this point, the one thing that they do have going for them is that you're at the bottom. You got absolutely nothing to lose. You might as well just send it, and I think that's why we have seen them previously fight against those top dogs as well.
And one thing that we expect right here, based on the numbers, is Buriram United might be going for a comeback, because so far the average that they have is 20 points for each time that they step into Nextera, and who's following them would be RQ as well as MIBR Law. So there's a huge potential that 3 regions or 3 countries will be taking that Booyah in this map.
I mean, when we started today, we were talking about Buriram. We were talking about the points that they were able to get, right? During the groups, they were averaging about 19.7 points. So far today, even though they had a great performance in game 1, they've only been 11, so a massive drop-off for that squad, Conchita.
Yes, it is. But then again, if we take a look at the Booyah list, 3 out of the 4 Thailand teams has gotten it. So maybe it's just about time. Then again, Buriram United Esports, they were doing so well at the elimination points up until that time when they got eliminated early. So there's still hope for Buriram United Esports. I am keeping an eye out for them. And Nextera, once again, this is one of Wasano's favorite map, actually. He said it somewhere.
I guess Buriram just don't want that World Series and then to back it up with the WC 2026 trophy. I guess you guys just don't want it enough. So
they're giving other people a chance to catch up.
That's so humble of them.
When we were talking about the overall, we saw first place there with 70 points with AJL, and then going all the way down to Lion, I think they were somewhere in the 53-point mark. So honestly, one Booyah can make the difference. We already saw what happened after 2 matches earlier on. I can't wait to see what it's going to be looking like after these 2 matches, because if it's anything like what we just saw previously, it's gonna be absolute madness. And you know what? I want to see that madness. I know you at home want to see that madness too. Let's send it to Nextera.
Well, madness is exactly what we're going to be getting as we go into this map. AJ warned us that this map could possibly be match point, because of the possibilities of some of these teams popping off. Just now, Neptune already said 3 teams, BRU, MIBR Lost, as well as RQ, have high potentials of going huge on this map. What do you think, Lucifer?
I don't like it, Tash.
Why?
I went on the stage and was like, hey, this is the time that teams are trying to take it away from Southeast Asia. But look at it, as we are back towards our match number 5, 3 teams from Southeast Asia are ready to get to match point. And that just feels like it might just go back. But doesn't matter, the cooperation looks really good. AGL, Twisted Minds and Falcons looking forward to a chance on the game trophy. This is next year, the last game where you know the clear path to, because every game after this is randomized and you don't know where you're heading in the flight.
Yeah, you're basically going in blind in this situation. Again, there is high possibility of hitting that match point, but the question is which team will be able to clinch in that final booyah to go home with the trophy and the championship title.
Flight path right now cutting the map in half. Nothing much to be worried about for any team. If you want to go up north, you have a chance at Intellect Center. And if you want to go to Deca Square, which is so far in our previous days of the journey, the 3 days was very sought after, and even our last few circles ended up near the Deca Square itself. And right as now, it's only going to be SATUL. However, towards Rushtown, we see Falcons and a mix of Loud and Loud. They are the next best in case of Southeast Asia do not find their match point. It is going to be Loud.
Yeah, Loud looks really good. I think in the first match was a bit more quiet from them, but they started to warm up. And I think it's really scary because they are a type of team that is just really patient with how they play, and we saw some gunshots coming through from them as well. So we are going to be seeing this fight happening. But at the same time, I suspect that for the players of Fluxo, they're keeping a close eye on this team. Limit already chunked out so low, even knocked down, but the revivals are quick. But Loud is just happy with his early 2 points.
2 points, the binoculars used to get to know where more players from Falcons are, so they know Pina is also close by. Not exact coordinates, but Pina, he'll also be snuffed out very soon. He's running out in the open. He doesn't have an idea that there's a player already ahead of his position. And very soon, Falcons, even though they've got the revive, will also lose another player. On the other end, Buriram finally getting back into action, and they're taking down Evos. They were supposed to be the ones closest to the match point, but they've been pushed so far down at the 7th spot that they need to rise up the ranks, get back to around 70 points. At least in this game, I don't see a possibility for Buriram to get to match point as comparison to the others.
Pina, great attempt, and also successfully being able to pick up Trap in his position. Aggressive as hell. Could be able to go for this 1v1 against Nyx. Aware, drops down those glue walls, but able to bring Trap back into the game. Valiant dash to bring down the glue walls, moving all around the area. The lack of info keeps Pina at bay, but On Fire is here to provide some form of support. But Fluxo in the wings wants to join the fight, but before that could happen, Pina gets another elimination in the bag.
It was stolen. Fluxo, they're the ones who made a close-by attempt here. And now surrounded is Pina. He was able to hold his front, but 2v1, that's not going to work out. Electrotherapy as well, working in favor for Fluxo. But Fluxo, they still have a challenge. Loud were the ones who pushed Falcons out, so Loud are still in the close compounds there. For Falcons, they might be safe and sound in the other direction, but Fluxo want to surround them. It seems like Falcons are the ones who re-attempt, and Loud are the ones who get away with it. UAV being used, information will be relayed, and Fluxo, they will again re-attempt and take down Falcons. On Fire's footsteps will be heard, but Sid will give a call, Bob, on the top to see if anybody exits in the nearby compound, and then they both again in a 2v1 might look forward to a second elimination on Falcons.
Now On Fire is very capable of winning 2v1s, but over on this side of the map here, Ran's in trouble as AGAL completely overwhelmed and swarm. Great work coming for this team. Positions all noted. No one is truly safe in this area. And now, wants to jump off from this site is looking scary. Attempts coming through here from SAUL. Jack on the other side of the glue wall somehow will go down as AGL so meticulous with how exactly they take these fights.
SATUL needed to win this if they wanted to deny AGAL the match point. And with that not happening and AGAL getting the eliminations, they will now slowly get closer towards match point, and they need only 20. And if they activate match point here, meaning match number 6 is where they just need a booyah and they will close this entire Esports World Cup 2026 for Free Fire.
That's Loud just now as well, looking really good on how they played this area. And I have to say, those early fights were really good. Loud knowing when exactly to let go and leave as soon as a third party came is the reason why they're able to have these really deep runs and survive till the end.
AJL, they would want to be the ones who survive till the very end, grab as many points as they want. 4 eliminations right now, and right in front is going to be Loud. The team, not from their region, but the challengers as best. They've been showing consistency from the very first game. Got the booyah in the beginning itself, but it's not been a case where they continuously get a lot in terms of eliminations, whereas AJL, they've been better in consistency and just secured a booyah in the previous game. And AJL, all gamers global. What a global title for themselves. They won it in Clash Squad, and now they want a Battle Royale, and Nyx is down. Cypher. Oh no, a counter knock coming through. That's in from Loud. The challenge for a 1v1 is only for a knock. No confirmations, but Duo has been found out, so that's going to be trapped. More falling. Cypher as well. Loud are not taking this easily. They instantly want to challenge. Nice hit coming with the throwable. Cypher is still brought back to life. Chrono being used. Cypher might have patched himself, but BZP with the melter. He's surrounded, gets one. But Cypher will be happy that Nameless brought him back to life, and BZP out. AJL still functioning. However, Nyx is the only one floating above because Stab just got taken down. So troubles and problems for Loud.
AJL looking very aggressive here, but we also are seeing Twisted Minds join in on the fight. 2 members from the team knocked down already, quickly taken away. And Cypher is limping right now. Forced to hide in a corner, forced to just really keep quiet and keep his head down. If he wants to be able, just go for that reset. Regardless, the rest of Twisted Minds not really interested in going in for this hunt, rather prioritizing survivability and positions later. But as for this side of the map here, Fluxo hit toe-to-toe up against the Falcons.
Fluxo, W7M. Their fans have been non-stop on the drums, chanting their names. And now they need to get to that position. Taking down Falcons will give them massive points and deny Falcons from getting towards match point. Melta was already used, so the aggression still continues. While we take a look at the Circle, which is about to make its own shift, to bring its own gameplay and a push where teams will not be ready for. And what a quick shift it's been. A drastic one, moves through the complete eastern edge, leaving only almost Twisted Minds at the center of it, and it seems like the whole ploy is being towards Twisted Minds, maybe being the champions as well.
SAUL wants to go in for this fight, wants to be able to play comeback here, but Fluxo is definitely not a foe to be underestimated here. Troll, great on the opening. They weren't aware of his rotation from the other side. A nice piece of cut across. They've been able to do it. MT7's position noted, but movement is good. Being able to take some chip damage, but not enough to drop him down. Bunzin goes up close and personal, dropping down a member of SAUL as Bobs. The damage is good toward Bunny, but no knocks yet from their side. And in this situation, they're barely alive, with Troll looking to find the final member. Bobs knocked down already. MT7 running for his life.
MT7
are there, and SAUL overcome the Giants.
Troll! This man was on the stage with us. 4 eliminations, and SAUL Esports take down another runner on this title, making sure their attempt is back again. Next era, this matchup is going to be crucial for every team that's making a comeback. So is Buriram. RRQ also need the points. But them all playing outside the zone means this could be an opportunity for the others who are inside the circle. And taking another opportunity is SAUL. Now it's Lion on a challenge. Noor's down, Jack as well taken down over there. Della, he's the one who made the hit. Games Kings knocked, and for the time being quickly Della to recover and patch himself. Puts glue walls in the container. And Noor wanting to help his teammates, but he's going to be surrounded, and he'll also be knocked.
Completely overwhelmed. Lion doing great with the timing, and they've been very, very opportunistic throughout the entirety of today. And now, in this situation, a little bit more further out of the zone, but they do have the opportunity to get into the area, since the area on the northern side is fairly empty. The only team standing between them is just TA. EG.
Team Apex Gaming. We just saw what SATUL were able to do, but both SATUL and Team Apex Gaming are sharing the position on the overall ranking. Not great. However, Jack trying to make it better. Spots limit, but damage being done by Jack as well. While on the other end, front runners is what we were talking about. AGL are on the top of it. Saifa gates by Rigby. M590 to do the damage. Confirmation also to follow through. Nameless trying to hammer MIPL loss and then successful blows being landed. Nameless now covering the outer fronts. Ravan, after he's losing his teammates, wants to make a run, go for a revive. But even Rigby, he will not deny on this challenge. He will try to stand for it. It will not work out as AGL will have MIPL loss surrounded and swept out.
Yeesh. Talk about a team that's just really walking in the around the area, just sweeping it. Looking really good right now as we look at the entirety of this circle. Majority of it, at least the best positions in my opinion, have been completely taken over here. EVOS on the western side, Twisted Minds and Loud sharing that southern side as well. Now I'm just waiting for these two to just duke it out because we all know how bloody it can be.
Binoculars were used, so information's being relayed on either end. Twisted Minds, we spoke about it. AGL might be at the top, a team from Thailand, but Twisted Minds, they were a team that nobody had to bat an eye on. Nobody thought that they're going to be, because AGL's there, Buriram's there, Falcons is there from the region, but Twisted Minds, they're twisting players, hands and legs to make it happen. SATUL also trying that similar approach. They did battle against Falcons, but now Pina running, ring around the poses to try and see if there's a chance. He runs away from Bunny, but will be spotted. Pina still going for a 1v1. It'll not work out. It's going to be a max 7 end for him. And SATUL Esports secured their 13th elimination.
This is a different look coming for SAUL. Yes, there are moments of brilliance, but this is the capability of what they're able to do. Riding high on that momentum, being able to take out the Giants. And now they continue on here. Northern side, they have the compound and space. And if you were to look at the zone right now, the southern side is about to get hectic. A majority of teams rotating through. Looking at the areas as well, for AGAL, I would say this is one of their best ones. 10 eliminations, not too far there. As the Falcons and SAUL each are getting completely destroyed in their own compounds and areas.
AGL, two different teams in front of them, Twisted Minds as well as Loud. But Buriram, they have only one. That's going to be RRQ. Get High is out. Problem striking. Dutch confirms. Rans as well. And Vasana trying to bring Buriram back. He will be put to his knees. Dutch will be recovered because Rans is closer. Buriram having a teammate, Jonah, who gets closer. Moshi from afar tried his shots, but none of them worked or connected to RRQ. But this breather was enough. Buriram is back in action, and Buriram also getting help from EVOS. And now EVO's helping them out. RRQ are in trouble. Dutch, can he recover this? Only good for an exchange, and instantly he will be shut down. And that's the end for RRQ.
RRQ looked like they had a really great start there. Burb, this is a situation they really needed. Quiet in the last two games, needing to play catch up despite the great start. As for SAUL, Bunny getting knocked down by Lion. Making sure that they dot their I's and cross their T's, and even going for more. EVOS is now pressured since Lion does have a high ground advantage.
All Gamers Global now making a rush towards Loud. Already a casualty over there. Can they confirm the elimination? No, Loud managed to recover, but the push is still there. And helping out was Twisted Minds, and in an instant, Loud wanted to get out, and all they get out is out of the game into the lobby. Loud Snickers. They were almost consistent, but with only 4 points in this game, nothing much, but more points coming in for Buriram United Esports. As Twisted Minds did help out over there to AGL. Now they have their own concerns.
Yeah, they're on top side here. They are safe for the time being. When they found Limit, they knock him down. As for EVOS, wants to wrestle away this space away from Lion. But they're just getting knocked out. Their space just running out. Della waiting in the wings. His teammates shepherding the players of EVOS toward him. A beautiful nade takes out Abax. Russia gets knocked out as well. And a quad for Lion. Joker going huge in this particular round. EVOS eliminated.
Joker has 26 eliminations in total, and now they've spotted Twisted Minds. A knock was dealt, and that's the warning coming in from Lions, because they're going to be the beasts of next era. Falcons Keroro trying to close the distance between Buriram as well as Twisted Minds, but he only read that there was players on the roof, not inside the compound. And Keroro, if he jumps in, it's going to be trouble, but trouble already for AJL right behind the bus. Riptide Rhythm, Flash Freeze all being used, and Lion are peppering them with bullets, and Twisted Minds are dropping nades after nades to trouble AJL.
Yeah, AGL, terrible position to be in. Not a lot of space either, and they're completely crunched from multiple angles, above or below. They are gonna get chunked down here. And Lion, a lot of space to work with, but this circle shift is about to get interesting. Yes, Buriram United and Twisted Minds has a little bit more space. Wakos getting knocked down here, should be able to get picked up. And AGL looking to rally back.
Lion quickly recovered. Thankfully, they did not lose their sniper. AGL, however, Nameless gets hit. But there is a chance, glue wall and recovery. This is just the back and forth. Now Exposi finds on Joker. Well, it'll be a quick recovery, but Exposi, can he find another? Nice monster truck being brought down. Blocking vision for the time being. Joker trying to find an angle. It's not possible for the time being. But Lion, if they pull this off, 27 eliminations already. We were talking about records. They might be getting closer. Aurora was the last time who managed to get closer to it. But they did not close it out. And all Lion are doing is a knock after knock after knock. We have to see when do teams manage to not able to rise up. No revives. And finally it seems like AJL have had enough. They make a rush.
They are forced to take this fight as well. AGL, a bad situation turned into a good one. Desperation turned into a win. They have the space right now, looking to overwhelm the players of Buriram United. And this is huge. Really stop Buriram United in their tracks. Continue their silent run throughout the last few maps. Buriram United, their backs out in the open. Lion take full advantage of this. Wasana knocked down. Get high, barely alive. But they're holding on for Twist for life, as the AGL members also are in trouble.
Trouble is not stopping. Cypher managed to jump, but he'll still be picked off. That's going to be the Twisted Minds, and AGL are out. Comes down to the last two teams. Lion and Twisted Minds. Twisted Minds are getting closer towards the match point, but Lion have a race to reach. Opening yet to be found. Games King was knocked, but that's not going to be enough. Twisted Minds now rotating, trying to climb up the hill, but Joker at the angle. He puts jump down, needs a confirmation, and that's when the numbers will change.
And this is really interesting because both these teams, we haven't seen a very healthy fight in a while here. Joker decides to move away here. Both players, both teams looking to prioritize positioning. They know exactly where the Twisted Minds players are. And Lion wants to try and take away that space. But it's a high climb, playing this angle where Twisted Minds have all the advantage. Diamond with the high ground, and even those snipers. It's going to be really hard to really challenge this space.
Riptide Rhythm being used, but he'll not be troubled. On the other end, Diamond will be, because Joker came up close. Putting the player on the roof down, and now look at this, Lion closing in, because they know the zone's closing out Twisted Minds. Della as well close by. They need the confirmation. Twisted Minds have lost the player. Games King finds the boss. More following through. Jump is down. One last player, and Lion, they're on. They get the booyah, and they take and break everything on Next Terra.
Next Terra was said to be a map for other teams, but they decide to go aggressive. They decide to take this fight with gusto, and they are fearless. From a bad situation to a good one, disadvantages upon disadvantages, and turned into advantages somehow. This team rally, and this team decides to overwhelm. Don't count them out. And suddenly, everything up in the air. Match point is still, we're still wondering when exactly that's going to happen.
They crushed Keys yesterday, and today opportunities of match point being crushed. 45 total points. Lion break all the records that anybody thought could have been left as it is by Falcons, which was done. Aurora got closer, but they couldn't. And Lion, they do it. The beasts of Next Terra making a comeback in the grand finals. Looking forward to match point. What a play, what a position. Look at this. Joker, unbelievable stuff. He did find his opening, but this was the crucial one. Putting Diamond out. How did they make it happen? That is crucial with Della going up close. Let's hear them out.
Crazy work coming from Azul. You could tell how much they wanted it. They were super hyped. Like as you mentioned, match point denial coming from this team. And if you were to see their record throughout this entirety of the week, they didn't really get activated up until later. We've seen moments of it, and now records are broken. And most importantly, what the heck was that ending?
What was that indeed? I agree with you. But AGAL, they got 22 points, and now I'm afraid. It was 70 points before we started this game, and now that match 5's ended, I think they've made it to match point. The only team that have made it to match point. We'll take a look at it, but let's talk about the key players. We were talking, the highlight was entirely on Games King when we always spoke about Lion. Yes, in his region, when we were seeing their games, it was, yes, him, the MVP, finding eliminations, but when it was necessary, the whole team stepped up, except for his name. Everybody else was there. That tells you when Games King could play his own game, and on top of it, Joker as the sniper. Oh my God. He made sure Twisted Minds, if they thought they had a chance, it will be swept, vanquished, and cleared from their minds.
You know what's really interesting as well? We talked about it because Twisted Minds had the prime positioning. They had the compound, they had the high ground. Even Diamond on the top side there had all the information he needed. But that one shot coming in from Lion to take down Diamond, and suddenly it just felt like a huge collapse. Suddenly all their defenses fell apart. And that's what I like seeing for Lion. You are being very opportunistic to turn the tides. Regardless, we're going to take a breather, and when we come back, let's see what exactly will be going on here in the grand finals.
We were there for every click, every clutch, every respawn. We were there for the years of grind, and we're here now. The proud founding partner of EWC, powering the biggest